Hey everybody, so I'm back. And I want to start off with a video again with some motivational quote that I feel resonates exactly to the topic that I do want to address today mainly. And I'm also going to be talking about a dream that I've had a while ago that I haven't shared yet with you guys, but it also resonates in a sense, but I do have this feeling I do need to share that one because it's very significant. And exactly. So I'm gonna start off with the quote. I think it's very. I love this quote because I feel like everybody, maybe not everybody, at a certain point of time now, but in the future, it will be a quote that could be resonated with every single person out there, basically, right? So we're gonna jump in and see.
Denzel Washington once said,
If you're rejected, accept it. If you're unloved, let go. If they choose someone or something over you, move on. Not everyone you love will stay. Not everyone you trust will be loyal. I've lost people who meant the world to me, and I'm still doing just fine. Do not follow the majority. Follow the right way. You can feel it when someone is not being real with you. Energy never lies. Always speak how you feel, and never be sorry for being real. Give people time. Give people space. Don't beg anyone to stay. Let them roam. What's meant for you will always be yours. I feel so much better when people don't know where I am and what I'm doing. You may not be able to control every situation and its outcome, but you can control your attitude and how you deal with it. Do good. It will come back to you in unexpected ways. Be happy with what you have while working for what you want. Remember that some things have to end for better things to begin.
Who cannot resonate with this? Like, I'm just saying. Like, and if you're, like, again, if you're still young and haven't resonated with it yet, it will be something to resonate with. Okay. And I love this quote because it's just absolutely true. And we can all see it as the same thing with Jesus too. When you follow him, don't follow the majority, but follow the right way, which is God, right? So that is why there's just so much truth in here in this quote. And I especially in the sense of if you're rejected. Okay. And sometimes you can, it doesn't matter how much goodness you bring to a certain group of people or a certain situation, and especially with the amount of time period, it doesn't bring anything. Okay. And that's the time when you get that feeling in here, like, time's up here, because it doesn't they don't see it, they don't see what's in front of them. For an example, you put in a lot of work, you put in a hard efforts, and you know the worth that you put in the work, because you also know, and you should know your worth. We are children of God, and I want to tell this now to the whole world, whoever needs to hear it. And I'm not talking about being prideful now or boastful or anything like that, but I'm talking about knowing your worth. You are worthy. You are a child of God. Did you forget that? Those are things. And I'm not talking about being prideful or taking that into a power that goes overboard now, but I'm talking about knowing that you're a child of God and that you can be worthy, that you are. We have to know and understand that God, Jesus, died on the cross so that we may be saved. You really think the Lord would have done that if he didn't see some kind of chance, even if it was just one soul, you guys, the worth of that soul is already so precious to him. Do you guys see what I'm saying? That's why the story of Abraham, all the way from the beginning, when he said, I believe it was Sodom and Gomorrah, if it was 10, if it was 9, it was like a countdown, right? Like the Lord still would have saved. And I'm telling you guys, if it's 1, the Lord would have went on that cross again if he could just save 1 soul. And that is how precious you are to God. And I think it's sometimes hard to understand that, or you don't want to believe it, right? Because you're like, I'm not worthy, right? I understand, I understand that. But in deep down, like, you are a child of God. If you accept Jesus as your Savior and your Lord, you are worthy. And it's not only everybody could be worthy. Everybody, every soul, every person. You are created from God. God's creation is worthy. You guys see what I'm saying? So, especially when you have a relationship with the Lord, okay? Especially when you have a relationship with the Lord, you know, especially with the spiritual gifts, you know your relationship with Him. And that's when you start being able to, the spiritual gifts to be activated. If that's in dreams and visions, or if that's in a sense of healing, or any kind of sort of way, right? Speech, all these things, discernment, okay? There's so many. But in another way, it's like, you know what God gives you, so you also know your worth. And if you're in a situation, let's just say now, for an example, you put your hard work and you know your worth, but you also want to bring goodness and love. You came into a situation with love, with happiness, because deep down you love God, and it's like, it's your soul just doesn't want to be different. But you go in that situation and you're with a certain group of people, and they're probably not used to that, which is okay, but when it starts coming to the fact that you are being attacked, and all of a sudden, by lies, by deceit, by theft, when they start going behind closed doors, making group chats on how they plan to bring you down, how to plan your crumbleness, anything that they can do just to like dim your light, basically, is what I'm saying. And all you ever did was all you ever wanted to do was bring love and your hard work. Like, you didn't want to do more. Like, you were ready to, just be you. And time has passed, and you've shown yourself, you've proven yourself already enough, right? You have proven yourself, and your worth has been shown, okay? And then you start realizing all those fishy things that I just now said. You start seeing people are trying to go against you because they started to realize the light that you have. One by one, they started, in a way, making you feel that feeling that you already felt, but you didn't want to give up because of the person, because you're good, right? You just want the good of the people. And then it starts to get worse. And then you just get rejected. So you did all that work, and then you just get rejected. But you got rejected not because of the work, but because people started lying about you. People started rumors about you. People started dimming your work, turning things around. Um, Started messing everything up and all these things, and then you were almost like it was like this whole time you were in a game and you didn't even know it until you started realizing the game that they were playing, because then God made you aware of it, okay? So then you got rejected, and you were put out of the situation from the person that rejected you, even though it didn't make sense why you were rejected, right? But at the same time, it's okay. And you shouldn't ever follow the person or chase the person that rejected you, because it's something. It's as if like they were also blind to see the truth, but they decided to be blind. Okay, they allowed people to get into their ear. They couldn't make a decision on their own. Which I think today, well, not just today, but I think every single person should be able to make an opinion, be able to make right judgment on their own. Doesn't matter who gets in the ear, right? But sometimes people don't do that, which is also okay, because it's maybe they learn something out of it, okay? But for you guys, basically what I want to say, if you get rejected and you're like, why is this happening to me? Now I'm crumbled and it's very painful. I can understand. I've been through it. And that's why I want to be here, to let you guys know it's okay. Give everything then up to God, and maybe this rejection was needed, and God, that was maybe that intervention God put down between you and what was happening, even though that place could have given you many opportunities. You guys see what I'm saying? But when you're rejected, God put that down because He already was seeing the things that they were doing behind closed doors. He didn't want that for you. When you come in with righteous works, then it should be rightfully rewarded. It should be rightfully recognized. It should be appreciated, especially at a certain amount of time period. And when it's not, and God sees that, and God knows their hearts, that's when God intervenes. So when you get that rejection and you're like, why? And you're crying and all these things, it's okay. Give it to God. Because you were already 10 steps ahead anyway. You already knew that they were playing games. You might not know everything now of the whole situation, but you definitely know enough to know what's going on. And that's when you take that leap of faith, put it into God's hands. You stand up and you walk. And don't chase. Because you were not in the wrong now, right? And when they come back and someone does then confront of the situation, then say your truth. Just like the quote. Say your truth. You don't have to do more than that. But say the truth. And then see what comes out of it. If the rejection still stays and the ways need to be departed, then that's so. Then that's God's will. But if you guys come back together, talk it out and see the truth in perspective in one eye, one focus, and try again. But knowing that forgiving and learning was now in the process and that things are going to change, then that was God's will. You guys see what I'm saying? But never underestimate yourself, because you're worthy in God's eyes. You're a child of God. You are worthy. And I want you guys to know that. I want you guys to know that. Especially when your works have already been shown. Okay, in a certain situation. So don't be afraid. I don't want you guys to be trampled. Don't allow anyone to make you a fool. Don't allow anybody to trample over you. When you speak, speak calm, but pierce it like a sword. Make it be pierceful like a sword, but in a calmful way. Because through God's word, it's like a sword. And His light is our shield. Allow His light to be our shield and His words our sword. And ask thank God, because I know the situation might have been painful, right? And also know and ask then Him to take any anger or pain then away when the time does come, if it comes, right? If you're confronted about it. Allow Him to take that away and be able to speak in that manner then. And then see what comes out of it. And God will allow you to have the right judgment on the situation, because He makes judgment. But do said, I talked now 16 minutes, but I felt like it was very important for me to share, because I know those situations, and anybody that needs to hear it and maybe needs some guidance, I feel like it's something that I do need to speak out about. Because you're not alone in this. You're not alone in this, and I know exactly what that is. When you have God, it's just something you're gonna have to deal with. It doesn't matter if you're there, it doesn't matter if you're in that place or in this place. It's gonna happen. And if you reject it, then okay, you know what? That's fine, because God's 10 steps further ahead in the game. I'm on His path. So watch me be 10 steps further in the game. Voila! So, I also have 3 Bible verses that can resonate with this. And I thought it was funny in the last few days that I opened up the Bible, and those were the 3 that stood out, and they literally were very similar to one another and also relating to the situation. So, let's see. Psalm 31. Oh boy. Psalm 31. David calls to God in stress and fear. In Thee, O Lord, do I put my trust. Let me never be ashamed. Deliver me in Thy righteousness. Bow down Thine ear to me. Deliver me speedily. Be Thou my strong rock, for in a house of defense to save me. For Thou art my rock and my fortress. Therefore, for Thy name's sake, lead me and guide me. Pull me out of the net. I love this one. Pull me out of the net that they have laid privily for me, for Thou art my strength. Into Thine hand I commit my spirit. Thou hast redeemed me, O Lord God of truth. I have hated them that regard lying vanities, but I trust in the Lord. I will be glad and rejoice in Thy mercy, for Thou hast considered my trouble. Thou hast known my soul in adversities, and hast not shut me up into the hand of the enemy. For Thou hast set my feet in a large room. Have mercy upon me, O Lord, for I am in trouble. Mine eye is consumed with grief. Ye, my soul and my belly. Like I said, it's painful. But it's okay because we have God. For my life is spent with grief, and my years with sighing. My strength faileth because of my iniquity, and my bones are consumed. I was a reproach among all my enemies, but especially among my neighbors, and a fear to mine acquaintance. They that did see me without fled from me. Another thing, most of the time it's the neighbors that are doing the most against you. Betrayal. I am forgotten as a dead man out of mind. I am like a broken vessel. For I have heard the slander of many. Fear was on every side while they took counsel together against me. They devised to take away my life. But I trusted in thee. O Lord, I said, thou art my God. My times are in thy hand. Deliver me from the hand of my enemies and from them that persecute me. Make thy face to shine upon thy servant. Save me for thy mercy's sake. Let me not be ashamed, O Lord, for I have called upon thee. Let the wicked be ashamed, and let them be silent in the grave. Let the lying lips be put to silence, which speak grievous things proudly and contemptuously against the righteous. O how great is thy goodness, which thou hast laid up for them that fear thee, which thou hast wrought for them that trust in thee before the sons of men. Thou shalt hide them in the secret of thy presence from the pride of men. See, guys, I told you. It's like you're there and the Lord hides you from them, who you truly are. It's like they don't know who you are. He hides you. It's just like, oh. But they don't know, they don't understand, because they don't understand the light. You guys see? Oh, how great is thy goodness, which thou hast laid upon them that fear thee, which thou hast wrought for them that trust in thee before the sons of men. Thou shalt hide them in the secret of thy presence from the pride of man, because they were too prideful. Maybe a little too much of authority was, maybe they abused their powers. So that's why they were also blinded. Thou shalt keep them secretly in a pavilion from the strife of tongues. Blessed be the Lord, for he hath showed me his marvelous kindness in a strong city. For I said in my haste, I am cut off from before thine eyes. Nevertheless, thou heardest the voice of my supplications when I cried unto thee. O love the Lord, all ye his saints, for the Lord preserveth the faithful and plentiful, rewardeth the proud doer. Be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart, all ye that hope in the Lord. I love it because it's so true, you know? Like, you guys, I know it's painful, but look at that at the end. Isn't that beautiful? And then I also have Psalm 69, because the Lord just speaks like when it needs to be spoken. And it's like, you know, he's done with you. It's like, it's the same situation. Like, you guys see what I'm saying? And you guys look at this book. It's big. Okay, so like, come on. I open up the page and 3 Bible verses that like resonate with the same situation is kind of like not a coincidence. So 69 and 70 Psalm. I have to get to it. Let's see. Oh, I went too fast. Okay. Psalm 60. No, 69. Here you go. So then we have Psalm 69. And then afterwards, after 69 and 70, I'm going to state my dream that I had. David needs a rescue from his enemies. Save me, O God, for the waters are come onto my soul. I sink in the deep mire where there is no standing. I am come into the deep waters where the floods overflow me. I am weary of my crying. My throat is dried, my eyes fail while I wait for my God. They, they that hate me without a cause, with no apparent reason. Everything was just so unnecessary, right? They that hate me without a cause are more than the hairs of mine head. They that would destroy me, being my enemies wrongfully, are mighty, then I restored that which I took not away. And I think that's pretty sad, and I can resonate as well, and I'm not the only one. All my brothers and sisters in Christ out there, and even those that don't even believe, can resonate with that. When they take things away, or they try to take things away from you with their evil plans, and then gonna come to you, and you're gonna have to be the one to restore the theft that was done onto you. That's I can understand. It's awful, isn't it? It's awful. It's awful. Especially when they did all this, and then they're gonna come to you and say you were the one. Like, God is with you. Don't forget that. God is with you. He's not gonna forsake his people. O God, thou knowest my foolishness, and my sins are not hid from thee. Let not them that wait on thee, O Lord God of hosts, be ashamed for my sake. Let not those that seek thee be confounded for my sake, O God of Israel. Because for thy sake I have borne reproach, shame hath covered my face. I am become a stranger unto my brethren, an alien unto my mother's children. So it's not just outside, it's also within the family. When you follow God and there's people in your family that don't, you're a stranger. You've become a stranger. And sometimes we just have to let go. But I'm gonna make a different video on that. For the seal of thine house hath eaten me up, and the reproaches of them that reproach thee are fallen upon me. When I wept and had chastened my soul with fasting, that was to my reproach. I made sackcloth also my garment, and I became a proverb to them. They that sit in the gate speak against me, and I was the song of the drunkards. Isn't that funny? Being the song of those that are drunk. They laugh at you. You're their story. That's all they can talk about. But as for me, my prayers unto thee, O Lord, in an acceptable time, O God, in the multitude of thy mercy hear me, in the truth of thy salvation. Deliver me out of the mire, and let me not sink. Let me be delivered from them that hate me, and out of the deep waters. Let not the water flood overflow me, neither let the deep swallow me up. And let not the pit shut her mouth upon me. Hear me, O Lord, for thy loving kindness is good. Turn unto me according to the multitude of thy tender mercies, and hide not thy face from thy servant. For I am in trouble, hear me speedily. Draw nigh unto my soul, and redeem it. Deliver me because of my enemies. Thou hast known my reproach, and my shame, and my dishonor. My adversaries are all before thee. and you love God and you talk to Him in your relationship with Him, you pour out your heart, you have no secrets. You shouldn't have secrets with your God. Jesus. That's why there's no secrets between you and God then. So whatever they do to you, it doesn't matter, because you have no secrets with the Lord. The Lord already knows. And He knows that you tell Him, you show Him that you don't want secrets between you and God. But they keep secrets. They keep secrets. Thou hast known my reproach and my shame and my dishonor, my adversaries all before thee. Reproach hath broken my heart, and I am full of heaviness. And I looked for some to take pity, but there was none. And for comforters, but I found none. It's always, not always, but that's why God, go to God. And you have nobody that comforts you, or you're sad and you feel pain, give it to God. He'll take care of it. They gave me also gall for my meat, and in my thirst they gave me vinegar to drink. Let their table become a snare before them, and that which should have been for their welfare, let it become a trap. Let their eyes be darkened, and that they see not, and make their loins continually to shake. Pour out thine indignation upon them, and let thy wrathful anger take a hold of them. Let their habitation be desolate, and let none dwell in their tents. For they persecute him thou hast smitten, and they talk to the grief of those whom thou hast wounded. Add iniquity unto their iniquity, and let them not come into thy righteousness. Let them be blotted out of the book of the living, and not be written with the righteous. But I am poor and sorrowful. Let thy salvation, O God, set me up on high. I will praise the name of God with a song, and will magnify him with thanksgiving. This also shall please the Lord better than an ox or bullock that hath horns and hoofs. Again, this was back in the day, right? But people still do that, so that's why having a relationship with God, just talking to him, and that's go in that corner alone, trust me, you won't regret it. The humble shall see this and be glad. But even David knew this. David knew this at the time that they were doing that. So, you guys. So, the humble shall see this and be glad, and your heart shall live that seek God. For the Lord heareth the poor, and despiseth not his prisoners. Let the heaven and earth praise him that sees, and everything that moveth therein. For God will save Zion, and will build the cities of Judah, that they may dwell there and have it in possession. The seed also of his servants shall inherit it, and they that love his name shall dwell therein. Psalm 70, and this is a small one. David's urgent plea. Make haste, O God, to deliver me. Make haste to help me, O Lord. Let them be ashamed and confounded that seek after my soul. Let them be turned backward and put to confusion that desire my hurt. Let them be turned back for reward of their shame that say, aha, aha. Let all those that seek thee rejoice and be glad in thee, and let such as love thy salvation say continually, let God be magnified. But I am poor and needy. Make haste unto me, O God, thou art my help and my deliverer. O Lord, make no tarrying. So, do you guys see my face? I just put your trust in the God, even though when you're afraid to just walk up, stand up and leave. You don't know where it's gonna head to, but take that leap. Put that leap of faith into Jesus. nothing can go wrong by doing so. Do you guys see what I'm saying? So take that leap. Don't be afraid. God's gonna be on your side, and I can promise you, you have an army behind you. An invisible army that they do not see, but is tenfold stronger than what they can even understand. And when you come back, that army is behind you. And they don't even know. They have no idea who they messed with. So, and I think it's just very important because those were 3 verses and they just really resonated with one another, and I just really had the feel and the need to share that because I know there's many people out there that feel the same way. And the number one reason is because you guys, we have God, okay? We have a light. It irritates their demons. It's like attack, right? They don't understand. But like I said, we should always be forgiving and learning, okay? So we learn from the process, and hopefully they do so as well. But sometimes God does allow rejection to happen because it's actually in reality an intervention, because he knows deep down what's going on, okay? And he's only gonna allow certain things to go that far. So if you don't understand why that happened, you're doing all the work, you're there, you're like, why? Like, and now you're so because rejection, like, is just really painful, okay? But know that God's in control. God's in control. So, and by doing this now, I also want to state the dream that I had, and it's a dream I've had it a little bit longer, and then I'm gonna cut, but like cut, yeah, you guys know what I mean. It was like a sidewalk, and there was like stones. It was actually like kind of like work related, like something like, putting stones together, like making a sidewalk basically. There was someone else there that the dream now, okay? The dream, I saw someone else that I actually know from that place. That's how the dream went, okay? But we were separated. That person was working more to the front, with the hammer. And I was more to the back. And it was weird because like there was like a certain time period on that. It's like I was able to get a spot, okay? I was able to like park, have authority over the spot. And this person, well, not that person that kept doing that, like a coworker or something. It was someone else. I heard a voice, like they were coming to me and they said, "How did you do that? How did you get the authority to park here?" Like, even though I didn't see a car, but I knew it was like a parking spot, and they all came to, and I like knew, but it was nothing difficult for me, okay? It was like something that was not difficult, like, and I answered. I said, "Well, I just went in and I asked, and it was granted." Like, there was nothing difficult about it, allowing me to use that parking spot basically on that sidewalk. But I didn't see sidewalk now anymore. I saw more like a green field kind of thing, but the sidewalk kept going in the front. But they didn't understand how I was able to get permission basically to work or do anything with that parking spot. It was really, that's how it went. And the other person just kept on more to the front. He just kept on making the sidewalk with the stones. But that was that. And then all of a sudden it was like digging, right? So we're like digging, and there was a coffin underneath. It wasn't like a It wasn't a graveyard, but it was only one coffin. And there was, it's like, okay, it was a coffin, but for some reason I saw the person that was inside the coffin. I saw like first a picture, and like that person still looked, I don't know, I had a feeling that this person was longer in there. Okay, so I had a feeling this person was like a little bit longer dead, but all I know, like I don't know if this person just died. I just had that feeling, right? But all I know, there was a coffin, and there was a person in there. The person had, it was older. He had shorter hair. There was a little bit of an orangey tint to it, and it was a little bit. It was like gray. Like it was an older man. Okay, and it's just sad to say it, but I knew. Okay, they didn't. They weren't able to see what I was seeing. Okay, this person was dead, but I didn't see him dead. He was well alive. I was able to hear him and see him, and I saw him alive. He was bound down to the coffin. He was bound in the coffin, and I could hear him. I could see him. He was not dead, but he was dead. And I heard, it's really sad because it was, I heard a voice say, "Oh, who is that?" And I was also like, "I don't know, who is that?" And then I was like, "Oh, it's a psychologist." And I was like, "Oh yeah, a psychologist." It was a psychologist. This is someone that was a psychologist. So I knew his profession now. I knew his profession. And I saw him in the coffin, and he started, I knew where he was. I knew his faith was in hell. I knew he was in hell. He was destined to be in hell. I knew it. But I saw him in the coffin, and I started seeing him like he was going like, okay, I know it looks really weird, but he did that in the coffin, okay? So he was bound in that coffin. And even though he was in a coffin, I knew that he was actually in hell. So he was seeing hell. He was seeing something different than what I was seeing. But I saw him. And he was doing that. Like he was he was like parched and suffering. And I heard him say, "There's Jesus walking, there's Jesus. I see Jesus walking, I see Jesus." And I knew at that point, and then all of a sudden, okay, I knew, but it was like too late. Like he was already in hell. Like, and it was now that he was in hell that he finally saw the Lord. And I knew that. And I felt that's so sad. And all of a sudden on the corner, eyeballs started piling up to a tower almost. And a big teardrop, and I knew it was a teardrop. I just knew it was a teardrop, but it came from above and it fell onto the mountaintop of these eyeballs and started sprinkling down. And then I knew, this person had to die he had to die and then be able to see that Jesus is real. You guys see what I'm saying? And that's something so sad. And because of the psychologist, I don't even want to know how many people he made sure that they didn't believe in God. Okay? So he has a lot of eyes. He has a lot of eyes on his behalf. A lot of tears, eyes on his behalf. Because he made people also believe, or make them believe, not in the Lord, because of his profession. Who knows what he did? I don't know, but I just knew in the dream that the psychologist was in hell. And it really hurt me, okay? Like, I don't wish that on anybody, but I knew that he was in hell, and I knew While looking at him, he didn't look like he was in hell, but he was in hell. He was in agony. I saw him like his teeth was like, and he was like suffering. Okay, and I knew his faith. Like I knew it, and I heard him screaming like, "There's Jesus! I see Jesus walk! I see Jesus!" That's too late. And it's like that didn't happen yet, and but I did, uh, but I know it's coming. That incident, okay? I know it's going to come. I know it's going to come at some point. I just don't know when. But I know he was there. I heard him speak. I saw him. I heard him speak. Even though he was dead. But I heard him say why he was dead, the truth. He saw Jesus, but he saw him now. Now he finally saw him when he was dead. And there was no turning back. And he has a lot of eyes on his behalf. They are seeing, and the eyes, I feel like they were like already out of the body, meaning that it's sad. Like the Lord's crying on those eyes because it's like they just now they see, like now when they're dead. It's just like now when they see, and it's just like they're sad, you know. So I wanted to give that out. It's a dream to definitely, well, it's going to happen. It's going to happen, but it's also at the same time, it's a message. Anybody that needs to hear it, make sure that you do find the Lord before it's really too late. I was able to see this person in the coffin. I knew his fate right away. I knew it. He didn't even look like deceased. He looked like, that's the thing. That's the feeling I got in the dream. I knew this person was longer in that coffin. Like he was longer in there. I knew that. He should have looked like bones, but he didn't. He looked just like he looked alive, like me and you. But he was in agony. He was in agony in that coffin. It's just was really, really sad. It just really was. So there's something I really wanted to share. Even though that person was a psychologist in the real life, and who knows how much money he was making, yeah, but look where his life ended up thereafter, and that's eternity. Eternity, okay? I never got the name of it in the dream. I didn't get the name of the psychologist, but I just knew his fate. I knew that he was in hell. So it must have been in some kind of significance, the psychologist, whoever he was, because he has a lot of eyes piled up in a mountain with a big teardrop just going on them. So, and now when he's dead, now he sees and he's in agony. That's why it's very important, you know, especially in the jobs that we choose. You know, it's one thing if you keep quiet, well, but it's another thing when you get others to not believe in Jesus. You know, something to think about, because the fate that I saw for this man, the psychologist, I felt so sad. I saw it. Actually, I saw this dead man and his fate. And it wasn't pretty. And the Lord still spared me from like where he was really at. The Lord showed me just him in the coffin. So he spared me already. So but like he spoke, I heard him speaking. I heard the dead man. And I saw the dead man. But just like me and you in that dream, bind to the coffin, in agony. So there you guys have it. Love all. And I'll see you guys next time. Alrighty, bye bye.